And today with us we have an associate from our Melbourne office, Chris Grisenti. Chris Grisenti is a costs lawyer with several years' experience, and one of the areas that Chris most operates in is preparing expert reports for our clients. And what we're going to be talking about today is one of those reports, the security for cost application, and the evidence that we prepared as cost lawyers to support our clients' claims. So welcome, Chris, and
Thanks, Mike. How's it going?
great, it's great to be here. And perhaps just initially as a bit of an overview, the functional purpose, if you like, of a security for cost application.
Sure. Well, security for cost reports, or applications, I should say, they're used for defendants who are trying to seek security from the plaintiff because they may not have any assets. It's almost like an offsetting for any potential adverse costs order against the plaintiff, and it's used to make sure the plaintiff can put money into a court's account so that if there's an adverse costs order, the defendant won't lose any money and they'll be able to recover something.
Indeed. And of course, we work for both sides, depending on who briefs us. So we may oppose an application, or perhaps just provide evidence in support of opposing an application, or provide evidence that maybe supports the application. And Chris, perhaps you can give us a bit of an overview of the process, if you like, and when you might make an application for security for costs, and the considerations from an expert's perspective.
Well, we actually see them kind of anywhere throughout the proceedings. I personally would say it's better to do it earlier than later, because then you get an opportunity to, not recover, I should say, to have more money put into the court's account and have it there as security. If you do it later on in the proceeding, you can limit yourself because you may not be able to have past costs be ordered as security. Generally, I'd say the best time to do it is at around the time the defence is being prepared or filed, just thereafter.
And once an application is on, let's say, for argument's sake, we're providing evidence to oppose the application, what sort of things are we going to be looking at as experts beholden to the court?
Again, it depends what the proceeding is doing, and it depends where in the proceeding we're doing the report. Let's say we're doing it from the beginning, which is when the defence is filed. We'll have various steps, so the preparation of the defence, any further embedding particulars that need to be filed, discovery, interlocutory applications, subpoenas, basically everything in the proceeding we're looking at. If you do it early in the proceeding, most security is ordered up to and including mediation. After mediation, you can make a further application for security, and that goes all the way through up to and including the first day of trial.
Interesting, and one of the recent matters Chris and I both worked on quite closely was the CITES and Logos Australia matter. Can you speak to that? Put some bones to the discussion, I suppose. Sorry, flesh to this. One of the matters that we've most recently worked on together, Chris and I, is the CITES and Logos Australia matter. And perhaps if we can talk about that, we can actually put some numbers to it. We've got a published judgment in that matter, and that'll give some insights into what's happening in that particular application.
Sure. This proceeding is one where there were New South Wales solicitors engaged by the defendant. However, it was being run in Victoria, so there's a little bit of a cross-pollination. So this report was done around the time of the defence, and it went through various stages up to and including mediation. We prepared a report on behalf of the defendants. We sought approximately $240,000. The plaintiffs obtained accredited specialists to come in and do a report against ours to try and cut down the number as much as possible. And that report said that security should be $81,000. We got a judgment in that, or the client got a judgment in that, and security was ordered at about $150,000. So pretty much a midpoint between the two.
Interesting, isn't it? And we often do see that, of course. Two experts have slightly opposing views. The court often will take a midpoint of that. And Chris, tell us about some of the other expert reports that you've been involved in terms of the types of reporting, gross sum applications as an example.
While we were quite involved in the Rebel Wilson and Bauer Media Gross-Sum expert report, but I think that might be a topic for another day, Mike. It's quite in-depth and complex. I think another security for cost report that might be interesting is one that we've just recently done. We're acting on behalf of the... No, that's not. Can we go back? Can you ask the question again? I don't think we should touch Gross-Sum.
No.
Because it's a different...
I was just sort of going to try and conclude with, we also work on Gross-Sum applications and do a few other
maybe flip it to do the... So we've acted on behalf of the plaintiff as well, and the one we've just recently. Yep.
Interesting, Chris. And of course, we've not just worked on behalf of defendants with respect to security for cost applications, but also on behalf of plaintiffs. Give some insight into when we're acting for the plaintiff.
There's one that we've done quite recently. It's a large class action. It's been run in the federal court. One of the defendants sought security for approximately $3.4 million, and they had affidavit material trying to substantiate that amount. And we recently did the report on behalf of the plaintiffs, and we said security should be ordered in the range of $550,000 to $750,000. Now, huge difference between the two, and we'll just have to wait and see what the trial judge says of it.
Yes, it's going to be interesting. Of course, keep an eye posted on our website. We will be posting a blog, I'm sure, on the outcome of that matter. But it's been great to have you today talk with us, Chris, and we're looking forward to seeing some great results for our clients moving forward.